Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. So this is actually going to be my last Halloween look. We're going to be doing Hela, Goddess of Death, because she is a vibe. So we're going to start off with our base. I'm not using any paint today just because she's a little bit on the paler side, so I've just gone for more of a paler foundation colour. This is actually the Huda Beauty stick foundation in the shade Cashew. I really love this foundation. It's really nice and kind of hydrating, really easy to blend as you can see, and really nice and buildable, so it's not super full coverage to start with. And then just to lighten up the face a little bit and add a little bit more coverage, I'm taking the Whiteout Concealer from KVD Beauty. This is fantastic for like Halloween looks. So if you're doing a look where you just don't want to use white paint, if they're not, you know, if they don't actually have white skin and it's just a little bit paler, it really works to kind of create that look. As you can see, it really highlights these areas without looking super unnatural, if that makes sense, because in the film obviously she just has super light skin, and it's really easy to blend out, lasts really well. It's basically just a really nice concealer. It is the normal KVD concealer, just in a white shade. And then because I wanted to do a little bit more of a dramatic cool tone contour, I'm using the Mink foundation stick from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is another incredible foundation stick. Works really well, blends amazing, but I just didn't blend it out fully because I really wanted that dramatic contoured look. So as you can see, I'm putting it straight onto my skin, keeping it just right under that cheekbone. I don't want it to be nice and lifted. I actually want to carve out that cheekbone because Cate Blanchett has like the most incredible cheekbones, so you need to kind of try and recreate that as much as you can. Now, she didn't have any contour on her forehead at all. I've just added the like smallest amount because I don't know, on my face I just feel like I need it, otherwise it looks unfinished. I'm just blending that out with my sponge, keeping it to the side, more like where the temples are. And I do take the tiniest little bit, as you can see, down my nose. I think I forgot to show you that bit. And then I'm taking my Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Lavender because it's quite brightening. So keeping it nice and light. I don't really want any warm tones in there. I want to keep it cool tone. So just setting all of those areas where I concealed. Also going over my brows just so it's not tacky and it makes it easier to pop on my like brow pencil. And I'm just taking the rest of that powder all over my face to set the stick foundation because I have oily skin. I need to make sure that I set everything. Then I'm taking my Huda Beauty Bomb Brows Microshade brow pencil. This is in the shade Black Brown. So it's a nice dark one, but I'm not doing natural today. We are going super dark because she has very intense brows. Hers are a little bit kind of thinner towards the end, but where my natural hairs are, I just couldn't really create that exact shape. So I've tried to keep the shape as close to hers at the front as I can, and just trying to elongate that brow a little bit, whereas hers does just go that little bit thinner. But I just couldn't be bothered to block out my brows and draw like a new one on, and I feel like it looked fine in the end. But she has quite a blocky brow at the front, and you'll see in a minute that we're kind of adding our eyeshadow to that place as well, so it doesn't matter too much. I just want to get that kind of shape down and fill it in quite a lot because they are, again, pretty blocky brows. So I'm just doing the same thing on the other brow, making sure that I'm still going in and blending all of that because we don't want it to look like super crazy, but it's definitely a lot more than what I would normally wear. But then next up, we're going to go into our eyeshadow look. Her eyeshadow look is obviously quite dramatic, but really actually quite easy to create. So I'm taking the Vieve Essential palette. This is an unbelievable palette. Like, the black is so big in the pan and it's just amazing, like a really good true black. And I'm taking this little shader brush. This is actually from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe like eyeshadow brush collection. So it's just this tiny little fine flat brush, and I'm creating these like pointy bits down to where like we'd nose contour, but obviously stopping just as we get to that bridge of the nose. And then I'm taking just an eyeshadow like fluffy brush, mixing these two shades, which is Lava Rock, and then what's the other shade? Good Night, I think. Anyway, I'll have everything listed in the description box. But I'm just creating the eye shape that she had in the film. So it was very concentrated in the front portion of the brow, then it was very dark in the outer corner as well, but actually that lid space is kept quite bare, and then it's connected into the crease, and it is also dragged out like towards the brow and the temple, kind of like an upwards motion, as you can see that I'm doing right now. I am looking at a picture, which is why I keep looking down. I do apologize. But I'm just going in and blending. I do mix a little bit of a lighter brown as well. I think it's the shade Delicious in the palette, just to kind of soften that a little bit and make it a bit easier to blend. But it's probably easier to see on this side actually, where I'm just dragging that into the temple, but it doesn't go all the way into the temple. It's actually quite a harsh and dramatic look. It's not super blended, so actually it's a really easy look for anyone to recreate. I'm just taking that little flat shader brush, again a bit of the black right close to my lash line, because I've also put some black eyeliner like all the way around my eyes, because that's what she has in the film. And I'm taking those darker like black and brown shades right down basically to my kind of eye sockets, where our bags would kind of end, I suppose, like where our eye socket ends is where we're going to drag it down to, and then kind of slightly out towards the outer corner of the eye. And I'm taking a tiny little bit of this kind of pinky shade from the Essential palette just to help blend out that little extra bottom bit, because I feel like she had a little bit of a lighter shade, just to help kind of blend that out. And at this point I'm just going back in and I keep adding and blending out and, you know, trying to make it as bold as I can. Then just adding on a little bit of mascara. I just used the Fenty Full Frontal Mascara, and then these eyelashes, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they were just these Superdrug own ones, so I'll make sure that I link them. But they were just perfect, really easy to put on, and I mean, you don't see the lashes too much, but they were like dramatic enough that you could just see them a little bit. Next up, we're onto our lips already. I mean, this is a really quick and easy look. So I'm using Whirl lip pencil from MAC, because she didn't really have anything on her lips. She didn't have lipstick or anything like that. So I want to keep it very natural. So I'm using a very light hand, and I'm not overlining at all. In fact, I'm trying to make my lips look that little bit smaller and a bit more elongated, because that's, you know, what Cate Blanchett's lips look like. And I very lightly shade in with this, but I'm only shading in the bottom of my lip, and then I kind of just like smush my lips together. You'll see me do it in a minute, just to kind of transfer that colour onto the top lip as well. It just needed to be like a bit of a wash of colour, just so they look different obviously to the foundation, because the foundation's got on them, but just nothing overly dramatic. Then at this point I was like looking at the picture and I just felt like I needed to add a little bit more, so I was just going back and adding a bit more of those darker shades, a little bit more eyeliner like right into that inner corner as well. Then I'm just, you know, sorting my hair out, making it look a little bit messy. It was great because I didn't have to wash my hair on this day. Just added a bit of like pomade, hairspray, all of that, and that is this look complete. Was that not super easy? I think it was. If you did like the video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and all of that, and I hope you have an amazing Halloween, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.